On Tuesday night, Burnley's new boss, Eddie Howe, returned to Fratton Park, hoping his team's visit will be more fruitful than his time there as a player, where he made just 2 appearances in 2 injury-hit years. Portsmouth, though, had the best of the early chances, but David Nugent and then Liam Lawrence couldn't find an opener. Of Burnley's 37 points, just 10 have been picked up on the road. But on the half hour, Danny Fox supplied Jay Rodriguez for his 6th league goal of the campaign. 2 minutes later, and a goal made in Nigeria levelled it for the home side. Kanu set up John Utaka, and a 3rd goal of the season for him justified his selection after a hamstring injury. But just 8 minutes from half-time, and sloppy Pompey defending let in Steve Thompson. Jamie Ashdown managed to get in the way, but the rebound was expertly dispatched by Dean Marney. In a last-ditch attempt to salvage a point, Hayden Mullins slipped in Nugent, but his cross was superbly cleared by Tyrone Mears off the toes of Utaka. It meant a first win for Burnley under Howe, just their 2nd away from home in the league all season. Nottingham Forest had gone 32 regular season home league games without losing, and were facing a Bristol City side without a win in 4 league and cup matches. Forest's Lewis McGugan had the game's first chance for the free kick, the City goal leading a charmed life in the early stages. Forest are the Championship's in-form team, having taken 16 points from a possible 18. Marcus Tudgay almost opened the scoring, but David James was equal to him. 2 minutes after the break, Chris Cohen's pinpoint free kick was met by the head of Luke Chambers. It took a slight deflection on its way past James and the City goal, but Forest weren't complaining as they continued their unbeaten run. Victory saw Billy Davis's side leapfrog Leeds into 5th place in the Championship. Forest now just a point behind the automatic promotion spot. City, meantime, are 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Barnsley had won their last 2 trips to Doncaster, and another win at the Keepmoat would end a poor run of form for the Tykes. Hosts Doncaster had lost their last 2 league matches and were just 1 place above the visitors. An uneventful first half saw the best chance fall to home striker Billy Sharp, but his effort was saved by Luke Steele. Donny had kept just 4 clean sheets in the Championship this season, and only Portsmouth and Preston had fewer. They conceded again here. Danny Haynes with his first goal since signing from Bristol City earlier this month. Barnsley had a meagre 9 points on the road this season and had taken only 1 away point from teams above them in the league. But Haynes struck again midway through the second half. Rovers keeper Neil Sullivan will feel disappointed though that he didn't stop it. One-way traffic now as Jim O'Brien took aim from range, but this time into the side netting. The win means Barnsley leapfrog their Yorkshire rivals in the table. Doncaster have now lost 4 consecutive games in all competitions. Mark Robins' Barnsley had a Friday night out in London as they faced Millwall at the New Den in the first of the weekend fixtures. The Lions' 9-game unbeaten run was ended last week at Leicester, but it took them just over a quarter of an hour to break through here. Steve Morrison could hardly miss. Barnsley's away form has been Robins' main concern this season. They'd already lost 7 on the road before this one, and they were 2-0 down when James Henry's shot deflected in off Matthew Hill. Morrison had a great chance to add to his 13 goals this campaign when he was put through by Liam Trotter. But the Wales striker couldn't get the better of Barnsley keeper Luke Steele just before the break. The Tykes improved in the second half and had a great chance to set up a late comeback. Jim O'Brien's cross ended up with Jacob Butterfield, but the 20-year-old defender couldn't quite find the target. Millwall back to winning ways.
right, Neil. Good one, Neil.
Yeah.
Next up for Neil Warnock's Queen's Park Rangers, a tough trip to Hull. The hosts had lost just one of their previous 12 league matches going into this one. Caspers Gorks was making a 100th league appearance for the R's. He squandered a great chance to celebrate that milestone in style. Hull's recent good run has seen them rise into the top half of the table. Sub Jamie Devitt was foiled by Paddy Kenny. And even though the visitors had much of the possession, the Tigers almost won the game with a late chance for Matty Fryatt, but he couldn't hit the target as neither team was able to find a breakthrough.
They're not a bad side, they've had a good run. I think Nigel put the first game off because of the snow, so he could spend £3 or £4 million on his players to give us a better game. But seriously, I think Nigel's a good manager, and I think the team showed today they were fighting for him. And you know, no doubt we were better the side, but as football goes, we could have lost it 1-0 in the end.
Paul Lambert's Norwich arrived at Selhurst Park on a run of only one defeat in their last 13 matches. Just goal difference, denying them a place in the top two. Crystal Palace, meanwhile, are still awaiting their first league win since the appointment of Dougie Freedman as manager. And with defending like this, it's easy to see why. Julian Speroni denying Wes Hoolahan to spare Alex Marrow's blushes. The Eagles haven't lost at home since October, and they were inches away from taking the lead when Patrick McCarthy got on the end of a Darren Ambrose free kick. Norwich's last away defeat came nearly 3 months ago, but they had goalkeeper John Ruddy to thank for saving them a point when Sean Scannell struck from distance. It finished goalless. Freedman's wait for a first win continues. So QPR are now 5 points clear at the top of the championship. Norwich's draw is enough to lift them above Cardiff and into second place. Palace miss out on the chance to move out of the relegation places. Scunthorpe's meeting with Preston was postponed due to the cold weather. In League One, bottom of the table, Walsall were looking for their first win at home since November as they welcomed fellow strugglers Bristol Rovers to the Bax's Stadium. It was skipper Andy Butler who led the way for the Saddlers, heading in a Matt Richards free kick to put the home side in front after 17 minutes. Dean Smith's side had recorded just 3 home league wins all season ahead of this match, but they'd soon doubled their advantage. Matt Gill on loan from Norwich, converting John Macken's clever flick on to score his first goal for the club. Rovers had secured a first league win in 13 matches against Swindon last weekend, but they found themselves 3 down here a minute before half-time. A spectacular effort from Julian Gray. Rovers manager Dave Penny brought on Scott Davies and Rene Howe at half-time, and his changes had an immediate effect. Sub Davies setting up Jeff Hughes to pull a goal back 4 minutes after the break. But any thoughts of a comeback were soon ended. Matt Richards won the ball in midfield and from there on had only one thing on his mind, 4-1 now. Walsall had failed to win in the league by more than a single goal this season, but there was no stopping them now. Alex Nichols volleyed in number 5, despite the best attempts of Luke Daniels in the Rovers' goal. And it was perhaps fitting that man of the match Butler should have the final say. The defender heading in Gill's corner. So Rovers also remain in trouble. It's the 3rd time this season they've conceded 6. Bournemouth manager Lee Bradbury celebrated getting the job on a permanent basis as the Cherries won 2-1 at Plymouth Argyle. Walsall's thrashing of Bristol Rovers lifts them off the bottom of League One. That dubious honour now belongs to Dagenham and Redbridge. In League Two, leaders Chesterfield were looking to win a 4th successive home match when they took on Bradford at the B2Net Stadium. And it took the Spirites just 10 minutes to breach the Bradford back line. Midfielder Danny Whittaker with the strike. That's his 12th goal of the season. The hosts hadn't conceded in their previous 3 matches, while the Bantams were hoping to put an end to a 4-game losing streak. But City equalised just a minute later thanks to Dave Sayers. And the visitors look like they might stun the league leaders when Dave Hansen headed in a Gareth Evans cross after the break. Chesterfield hadn't lost in their previous 7 games. And in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, 19-year-old substitute Jordan Bowery scored the equaliser that keeps their run going. 2-2 the final score. Chesterfield sits 7 points clear at the top of League Two. Rotherham move into the first 3 after a 4-0 win over struggling Stockport. The Hatters remain bottom of the Football League. Barnet were beaten 2-0 at home by Southend, and they occupy the other relegation place. Our goal of the week comes from the Carling Cup. Craig Gardner's extra-time winner for Birmingham over West Ham that earns the Blues a first major Wembley Cup final in 55 years. Next week on the show, a meeting of 2 promotion hopefuls, Burnley and Norwich. And Championship leaders QPR face a tricky trip to Reading. We'll see you then.